What's up? It's your favorite Northern Belle, aka it's your girl Jor, and welcome back to another episode of So Hear Me Out the podcast. Last week we kicked it solo dolo and we talked about our 20 somethings. Some people miss their 20s, some people are fighting to get out of their 20s, and some people would never be 20 ever again. Shout out to those of you who listened, and this week, similar kind of, we're kicking it solo dolo. And one of the points that I had made in last week's episode was that I like to do life audits, right? And those are just things that help me stay in alignment with my goals and make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to be the best version of myself. One of the main things that I had did in a life audit recently was deciding if I was procrastinating or if I was being patient. A lot of my goals are things that I have to do on my own, right? I can't wait for these things to happen. And I need to put, some motion into the plans that I have. However, sometimes I just feel like, oh, it'll come to me, it'll happen. And I feel like now is a great time that we're in the trifecta at the end of the year, the unholy holy trinity. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We are in the last final quarter of the year, and we need to be on a steady track to be great and to end this year on top. Okay. However, you guys want to end up that way. I personally want to do better with my procrastination or self-motivation, things like that. Because motivation runs out very fast. I need to be a disciplined person. And that's not just with, work things. That goes into my meal planning and actually cooking. That goes into me going to the gym. That goes into my spending. So being someone who is disciplined, I won't have to lean on motivation so much because motivation is only there a good portion of the way. And then once it fades off, you're on your own. So in the spirit of procrastination, we're going to talk today about procrastination and patience. So I've always been the person that says, well, if good things come to those who wait, I can procrastinate. It's okay. I can wait on it. It's all right. And then I stumbled across this quote by Jim Stovall, and he said the difference between the two is that procrastination can be determined by whether you're waiting on something or something is waiting for you. So that one hit me, and it was perfect in time for my life audit for the end of the quarter. Learning that sometimes I prolong things for no reason that's super big and I need to be able to tackle these things immediately, or at least have a game plan to tackle these things before the year is up. So I'll allow you guys to be my accountability partners by this time in January. So today that I'm recording, or that you guys are hearing this, it'll be October 7th. By January 7th, I'll be in a different mind space and I would have achieved the goals for the end of the year for myself by being dedicated and disciplined and no longer procrastinating as much, because we always need a little procrastination, a little razzle dazzle. So of course, in my psych bag, I went on Psychology Today and found an article by Mara Morano about procrastination, and there were so many nuggets of wisdom that I found in there that I want to share them with you guys. Number one, 20% of people identify as chronic procrastinators. I never thought that would be something, chronic, right? As a procrastinator, a lot of people see it as lazy, but some people really, I guess, you have an issue with it and they know, and it's the self-awareness that starts, the process, I guess. Number two, as a culture, we don't take procrastination seriously. And I hands down understand this because for me, I don't take a lot of things seriously, but procrastination definitely is one of them. I'm not too focused or too worried about procrastination because, things will happen eventually, or they won't. And then I'll just say it was fate. Number three, procrastination is not a time management or planning issue, which is understandable because when you think about it, it's really just, I think it's more of a mental thing. I don't think it's a thing of I don't have a planner so I can't write it down, or I don't have a notepad. I think it's more or less your mental state. Number 4, procrastinators are made, not born. So pretty much what I took from that point was, if you're around people who do the same, the birds of a feather flock together, right? So if you're around someone who is always procrastinating, always waiting to the last minute, can't make a decision, or you were born by people like that, you learn those things. Or maybe you go through a traumatic life experience and that was just one of the things that happened afterwards. You just started procrastinating. So yeah, I think it's more or less a learned behavior. You don't just come out the womb a procrastinator, you learn that. And that's also with high school and college and stuff, when you're in a very impressionable age and impressionable state, when other people around you who you probably think are cool, or most people do it, you think it's okay to do it too. What was I at? 5? Procrastination or procrastinators, a high level of those are people who drink. So I definitely can see that, because it ties into our next point. Procrastinators lie to themselves. Things like, I'll do it tomorrow. So along with people who drink, when you think about it, if we all know someone who's like, oh, after this beer, I'll go do that, or I'll leave after this shot, or I ain't drinking no more after today, whatever, right? And it's just another excuse after excuse. So I definitely see how those two tie in together. Procrastinators also actively look for distractions. And y'all know the infamous SpongeBob episode. If you guys watch SpongeBob, he had to write an essay about what he learned in boarding school and literally could not get it done. And I just thought that was crazy, because he cleaned the house. He had so many other things going on and could not write this. So he was actively looking for distractions. And I can say that I do that too. I know for me, I like to function in a clean space, but if I'm in a clean space and something else is dirty, I'll probably go and clean that up before I decide to do a task that is very mundane and boring to me. Next, there are 3 types of procrastinators: arousal procrastinators, avoiders, and decisional. So I think for me, people who thrive on getting things handed in at the last minute, right? Like they feel like they do their best work under pressure. To me, they'd be considered arousal type of procrastinators. I know that I can put the pedal to the metal when it's crunch time. So why even try to do perfect things beforehand when I can get my best work at the last minute? Avoiders, people who, maybe it's like going to the doctor and you don't want to know what is wrong with you, because that's basically what we go to the doctor to find out, what's wrong with us and what's right with us, but most times what's wrong. And you don't want to be faced with a fear of something being wrong with you, so you don't go to the doctor. And decisional procrastinators, people who pick when they're going to procrastinate. I know that I can be like that, like, nope, not going to do it right now, but I can get all the other things done on my to-do list. So I definitely think everyone can identify a time when they've been each of the 3. Procrastination also can affect health. Students who had, more cold and flu and insomnia symptoms were procrastinators. And I think that's interesting to me. I mean, I didn't have a lot of colds in college, scholar, but maybe other people did. Did I start this episode with So Hear Me Out? I hope so. Procrastination can change. It does take a lot of psychic energy, right? So you can definitely fight the procrastination station in your head, but you definitely need to do the mental work, right? And you might even need a professional to get help with doing that. I think that's amazing, to be very honest. And then, of course, I kept doing my digging because always a scholar, and I found another article, but this one was about patience. It's by Neil Burton. It says that patience can be considered a decision-making problem. So it seems like they both are kind of similar, but patience is, I think, when it's a decision-making problem, is when you're going to decide, okay, I'm waiting for this, but how long will I wait for this? So I think putting a timestamp next to stuff would be a lot more beneficial. Stanford marshmallow experiment that was done showed that patient children did better. So what they did was, we live in a microwave day and age, right? We are Burger King babies. Got to have it our way. The study was basically, they gave children a marshmallow, and the patient kids who waited their turn and stuff, they didn't receive the instant gratification, but in life they tend to do better, and they were able to wait it out, if that makes sense. The people who had more patience and the people who waited were a lot better off than those who were looking for instant gratification, and they were able to retain that memory that things are coming to you. Kind of like, when pastors say that when your neighbor is being blessed, that it's coming to you, that kind of thing. Patience is also to be considered a matter of trust and faith. So similar to my previous point, when you trust in something is going to happen for you and you have faith in that thing, you can wait on it, right? But that doesn't mean that you wait and you don't do anything to achieve it. That's like saying, oh, I want to lose 5,000 pounds or whatever. Like my family all together, we're going to lose 5,000 pounds. Say, okay, I believe that this is going to happen. And you just wait. There's no way you're going to lose the weight unless you're actually doing something to lose the weight, even if that's not working out, but like changing your diet, doing constant weigh-ins and making sure that you're following a plan at least. That's where I feel like it has to be a double-handed serving, I guess, of faith and actual effort when you're waiting as far as certain things, right? But if you say, okay, well, I'm going to complete my degree, and you're in school and you're taking the classes, obviously you have to be patient and wait it out and complete all of your courses and pass them in order to do that. So I think for me, that's what my synopsis of patience is. Now, I don't know if I'm a patient person or more of a procrastinator, but for me, I feel as though I'm a little bit of both. I have times where I can be patient, and then times where I am just not patient at all. And there are times when I can get all my work done and I'm having a burst of energy, right? It's not motivation, but it's just I'm ready, versus those times where I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not in the mood for that. That's not fun. No, thank you. So those are just two things that I think spoke to me in my life audit. For the last quarter of the year, we are, like I said, in the unholy, holy trinity, or the trifecta of the end of the year. And I want to hit certain goals by all of these major holidays, right? So Halloween, I have a goal to figure it out and do certain stuff. And then the next month by Thanksgiving, I have other goals. And then by Christmas, I also have a different goal as well. So I think also on top of that is having an accountability partner would be helpful. So for me, in order to make sure that I'm not procrastinating and that my patience isn't in vain, I have accountability people in my life, and they're not all the same for the same stuff, but I do have people that I can lean on to do other things. So I think that that's something that everyone else should do as well. I even use this podcast as an accountability thing. I want to be able to create content and to do better things and to look up different articles and talk about stuff that I find interesting, regardless of if the vast majority is talking about it. So for me, this is how I keep my accountability, and I make sure that I'm not procrastinating stuff. I can say that I could wait until the last minute on a Thursday or even early Friday morning to do all this other stuff. But here I am making sure that everything's happening. Yeah. So you guys tell me down below, are you guys procrastinators or are you guys patient? And what is one of your goals before the year is out? Let me know down below. it's been real kicking it with y'all. I'll see you guys or hear you guys for another one on next Friday. All right. Bye.